Jaylo.
Yes.
It is 10:15 a.m.
Just about.
on Friday.
Yes.
You were expecting a Walmart order between
8 and 9.
and it came here around 9:50.
Something like that, yeah.
How do you feel about this?
This is the first time it happened, but I am not upset because I got everything I needed and more. I have more cocoa than I wanted, but that's good.
You originally ordered a 6 thing of cocoa.
2 boxes of the 6 to 8 packets of
Swiss Miss.
Yes.
And they gave you 2 boxes of 30 packets.
And I just decided this is a lot of cocoa. And I gave you one of the boxes.
I will, and I thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I might be making cupcakes this week with it.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yay.
So we will see. But that'll be a few days away, babes.
Are you planning to make a frosting where it's within the batter, or are you thinking about putting it on top of the batter?
That's interesting. I might make a frosting with it with maybe some cream cheese and a couple packets, but we'll see.
I honestly think that maybe you could experiment and put it in the batter.
I could do that.
I like cupcakes with frosting on top of it, but I think it'd be interesting to have the filling in between it.
Because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not sure that I have any powdered sugar. I would also want to add that to the frosting rather.
Oh, the powdered sugar. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Because didn't I give mine to you?
Oh, you gave me granulated sugar, yes.
Okay, I thought I gave you confectionery sugar too, but I might.
No, you didn't give me a confectionery sugar. You just gave me the granulated sugar because we needed that for the
some recipe.
Yeah, I forgot what recipe it was now.
Yes,
it's not coming to me. Yeah, we. Oh, it was for the cinnamon rolls. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
It's been a fun morning so far, babes.
So far, yes.
I got over here at about 7:23. We were kind of chilling on the couch, waiting for the order.
Yeah, we were really
talking about life.
We were really surprised that it was later than it was, but the driver was super nice, and he got everything I wanted. So
you went downstairs to meet him, and the plan was I was just going to wait up here. But you called while I was on your couch and said, you need to come down here and help me with these groceries. Yeah, because it wasn't, the bags were and I think the biggest thing was the boxes of cocoa, because the bags couldn't all fit in the cart, and he had to get some things from the trunk of his vehicle. It worked out, though. It did. It did, and the one of the guys that lives in my building, I don't know what the person's name is, so I won't mention his name anyway, but he offered to help me get in the door and the bags in the door, and super nice. Yeah, I ran into him before. He seems like a really, really nice guy. Yeah, he was in a wheelchair. Yes. And always nice. He always makes sure that I get to the right floor on the elevator. And he stopped us because I did not know that there was apple juice there. Yeah. And I thought that was really nice of him, and I said, "Oh, can you go get that?" Yeah, because I needed apple juice for my smoothies. Yes, baby boys. Yeah. Yes. So I'll get to experiment with the cocoa maybe while watching a couple episodes of The Kitchen, which is one of the shows that we watch when we're apart, and then we come together and talk about it. You also could try it in brownies too, I'm sure. I'll figure something out, babe. Yeah, but I think the cupcakes are a good idea, Bubs. I'm excited, Jay Wolves. I'm excited. Jaylo. Yes. Speaking about TV, I told you this morning that Dustin Diamond, who played Screech, is dying. Yeah. Well, it sounds really bad. I've heard of people with stage 4 cancers surviving it if they take care of it right away somehow. I don't know, but though he seems like a really bitter person. I've seen him on shows, just flipping channels over the years. I've seen him on reality shows, and he doesn't seem very nice. He doesn't seem like the kind of person that you could work with. I don't know if this is true, but I've always heard that he does not get along with the rest of the cast of Saved by the Bell. In one sense, I see that because he did the show years and years ago when he was a young person, and people just grow apart. But, you know, they also did go through this weird thing where they became superstars amongst a certain group of people.
Yeah, and they spent a significant time together shooting the show and probably getting to know each other off the show as young people. And I wonder if it's because, and here's my theory, maybe it's because he's the dumb guy in the group, and as characters go, he's a dumb guy in the group. He's kind of nerdy. He speaks with a very high screechy voice, right? And maybe that's just a big joke in the show. And maybe he's just made to feel like the characters only think of him as Screech and nothing else. I'm sorry, not the characters, but the people on the street. Yeah. Yeah,
I think it's not that the cast thought of him that way, but you're kind of on the right track, maybe. That everybody else thought of him as a joke. And there's probably some resentment there. But that's me playing armchair psychologist, too. Which I'm very good at doing.
Armchair psychology. So that's my theory. I don't know if I'm correct, because, you know, a lot of people, especially child stars, not all, but some have had a bitterness towards their fans because they've been typecasted in some ways, right? Like it's all that they ever think of. They used to be the cute one, the cute child star of the time, and they never forget that. Some of them are able to handle it, and some of them are not able to handle it. It sounds like it's possible that Dustin Diamond couldn't handle it.
It's very hard to.
Yeah.
There's only a few examples, but I hope he's not in too much more pain during these little final days.
We don't know if
as the countdown begins.
Bubs, come on now. You don't wish death on anybody.
I didn't say I wish death on him. I said I wish that he's not in a lot of pain.
I'd like to see. Okay, so I'd like to see him live a little bit longer to see what, if anything, if he could do something better with his life, instead of completely shutting people out and just being the way that he is. I would hope so.
Do you believe that he'll make it to the end of the year?
I'd like to think so, but it doesn't look good.
No.
Not that it couldn't happen, but I'd like to think so. But he's still young.
44.
He's not that much older than I am.
Well, rest in peace to Screech. Ugh. Rest in power. Rest in power.
Rest in power.
Yes.
Rest in powers.
I know, he's probably a Republican, but it sounds good to say.
Oh, well, his last name on the show was Powers.
I didn't know that.
Rest in Powers.
Yes.
Yeah. Samuel Screech Powers.
That's what I'll post on Facebook once he finally kicks the bucket.
Ugh.
Rest in Powers.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. For all you Saved by the Bell fans, Samuel Screech Powers.
Nice.
I was a huge fan of Saved by the Bell, so
I wasn't a huge fan, but I definitely watched the show.
I watched it all the time. I watched it on Saturdays when I could, and I watched it when it was in syndication.
Yeah. I mean, it would be hard to be a kid of our generation and not have watched it.
Right.
You know.
There were some other shows that I watched on Saturdays that were for teens, like there was a show called Hang Time.
I've heard of it. I don't think I watched it. Oh, you know what? I might have seen that.
Oh, that was a fun show. Hang Time, California Dreams. It's about a band.
I heard a lot about California Dreams, but that's the one that I never saw.
That was a fun show. That was the one with one of the actresses was Kelly Packard.
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, she was on California Dreams. I like that show a lot.
What else was she in?
That's the only one I remember. Yeah, that was a fun show. Those were 3 fun shows that I used to watch as a teen.
NBC Saturday morning.
Yeah.
The other channels had cartoons.
Well, they had cartoons also.
On NBC? I don't think so. Not up here.
Yes, they did. They did like in the early 80s.
Okay, you go back further than I do. But I remember watching Saved by the Bell in the mid-90s.
Yes.
And so NBC, the local affiliate, KGW, out here in Portland, would air news from 8 till, I want to say, 10. Then it would go into Saved by the Bell and maybe one other show until 11. And then they'd air some kind of sports.
Wow, because they had they had some cartoons on NBC. I mean, they had most of the cartoons on like CBS and ABC.
That's what I remember watching before Saved by the Bell.
I did watch those more, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they did have some cartoons on NBC. I just have to remember what they were.
It's possible that they aired them before the 8 o'clock news.
They used to have a show called Mr. T. They had like a Mr. T cartoon or something.
I remember hearing about that. I think that was just a little bit before my time, though.
It wasn't that much before.
I
was like probably 6 or 7 when that was going on.
Okay.
You weren't that much younger than I was.
I probably have better taste in TV, though. I'm just babes. Stop being reactionary, okay?
Oh. Yeah, stop it now.
Yes. It does make you think about death.
Mm. Or that life is fleeting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go into specifics, but last year was a rough one for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I'm prone to think about death anyways, because my mom would talk about it so much.
That's really unhealthy.
Like, I remember going to restaurants with her when I was around 10, and she'd talk about, I wonder what the afterlife is going to be like.
During dinner?
Yes.
Oh, that's so...
This would happen a lot.
That's so depressing.
My mom was really into that book, Embraced by the Light.
Oh, yeah. Is that the one by, what's his name?
It's a lady. I think it's Edie or Edith somebody.
Oh, I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I've heard of it. It sounds very new agey to me.
She read that book in 92 and listened to the audiobook many times. So we would discuss it a lot and what was death going to be like and the afterlife.
There was one book that was really popular that I never got into, but it was called Talking to Heaven. And that was I think it was by James Van Praagh.
I don't know who he is.
He's one of those so-called mediums.
Interesting.
Yeah. Excuse me. Him and Jonathan Edwards, I think, was another, like, was it John Edwards?
John Edwards.
Yeah. I heard he got into, like, hot water with a lot of his readings.
The rumor I heard about John Edwards. So, fast forward in my life.
Yeah.
It's now the early 2000s. I'm hanging out with my grandfather, who says, you should really watch this show, hosted by John Edwards. He talks to people's relatives who are dead, and he communicates with people. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like my type of thing.
I'm very skeptical of those people. All right. I just would rather stay away, but go on.
I watched the show, and it seemed interesting.
Yeah.
I knew that something was up, but I couldn't quite
get it. Yeah.
And I'm a Howard Stern fan, as you know.
Yes.
As you know, because I talk about it a lot.
Yes.
He was talking on the air around this time about John Edwards and what a scam artist he was.
Right.
And Howard said that he exposed John Edwards one day, but he didn't really go into the story, so I kind of put it out of my mind. Then it comes out that apparently the staff of the John Edwards show would make people wait in the audience or out in line for a few hours.
Wow.
And listen in on their conversations so they could get a sense of what was going on.
There's always something behind it, bub.
So fast forward to 2007.
Yes.
I'm living in Denver, and because I'm a hardcore Howard fan, I was listening to an older episode from October of 1998, I want to say.
Wow, that's a long time.
Which is really odd that I didn't hear it back when it aired because I was such a huge fan.
Yeah.
But he had on John Edwards.
Oh, really?
And God, I wish I remember what it was. I think he had somebody in his audience. I don't remember the exact circumstances, but I remember John Edwards looked really, really bad.
Oh, wow.
So that's my John Edwards
So he didn't look very credible.
No. And this was, by this time it had all come out that what his staff was doing to the audience. So
well, that's the same thing that happens with some charismatic televangelists like Peter Popoff.
Correct.
That make a lot of money scamming people and selling this like supposed holy water to sprinkle it on things, and you know how I feel about that. It's pretty pathetic that people would use that to play on other people's emotions, and I never thought that was okay. And I thought, this is a weird person. Well, it turns out, of course, that I think if I'm not mistaken, I think James Randi may have done something on him.
James Randi did a huge thing on Pop Rock. You still need to read that book. It's awesome.
I know. But no, I'm sorry. It wasn't James Randi that I was listening to on YouTube once before. Somebody was exposing him, and his wife would be somewhere like in another room, and he would have an earpiece on, and she would tell him about the prayer requests.
Somebody else might have been talking about it, but I think it was James Randi who actually brought that to light.
No, it was something. It was like a report on him.
Okay.
And on all these exposing these signs and wonders televangelists, which I do not endorse.
Is that movie Leap of Faith loosely based on Popoff?
On Popoff?
Yeah.
I heard of it. I didn't see it. I think it might be either him or somebody else.
It's not the best movie, but it was kind of interesting.
You mean like how people are scammed into thinking that we have to trust this guy?
Yeah, Steve Martin plays a minister, and him and his crew run that kind of scam on people where he has an earpiece and they're telling him about these people's afflictions. I believe their bus breaks down in a small city. It's about their weekend there.
Wow, and so he pretends to be this minister, this pastor.
Yes. I saw it a long time ago, and I don't remember the specifics. It's not that good.
They did. I think they made a musical based on that movie, I heard.
It's possible.
And I thought, whoa. Yeah, I still want to read that book, by the way.
Yes. I'll give it to you once you finish 1984. I could provide it to you before then, though, but okay. I know how you are with books. Jaylo.
I don't read it as quickly as you do, but
right.
Yeah.
Can I give you my favorite holy water in movies story?
Oh, no. Okay.
Okay.
Is it supposed to be a comedy, or is it supposed to be something weird?
It's a funny thing,
okay,
but also kind of weird.
Okay.
You still have not seen From Dusk Till Dawn.
No, you told me about it many times.
I partially blame myself for that. It's an awesome movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's not high art, but for a low-budget horror movie, it's really, really good. George Clooney is in it. Quentin Tarantino, who I don't like as an actor, is actually really good in it.
Oh, wow.
And it's sort of universally accepted as this is the best time he's ever acted in a film.
Okay.
Okay, so Harvey Keitel plays this minister. Excuse me, I have something in my throat.
It's okay.
Who left the church after his wife died.
Right.
And him and his two kids are kidnapped by George Clooney,
mm-hmm.
along with Quentin Tarantino.
Mm-hmm.
They go to Mexico, and they end up in this bar that is ran by vampires.
Whoa.
So they have to figure out how to fight them.
Yeah.
Harvey Keitel's son is about 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give him a real gun. They give him a squirt gun. And since Harvey Keitel used to be a minister, he blesses it and makes the water into holy water.
And does he shoot it?
Yes.
Where? What does he shoot?
He shoots vampires and kills a lot of them.
With the squirt gun?
Yes.
Is that supposed to be a comedy?
It's a horror/comedy movie.
A horror/comedy. Is it more funny than scary?
It's not really scary. It's just a fun movie. I love the movie. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those, it's not for everybody.
Okay.
I think it's great, though. It's my favorite George Clooney movie, which I know would upset a lot of people to hear that. But it's true.
Oh, yeah, because some people don't like George Clooney. Is that why?
No, because people think he's done better movies.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But to me, it's the George Clooney film I revisit the most.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you will.
I suppose I'll take your word for that one.
We could watch it one day if you want.
Oh, I don't know. Think about it.
We could maybe do a kidnap night.
No, I do not want to do a kidnap night.
Okay.
You're coming up with some really weird themes.
We could do an outlaw weekend.
It doesn't have to be a themed. It doesn't have to be a themed anything.
That's kind of fun. Mm-hmm. Even though this weekend, there's a couple of themes. Mm-hmm. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we will.
In a little while.
Yes.
We watched an episode of Deep Space Nine last week.
Yes.
About Kern.
about Kern.
You want to discuss it? Or do
no, I want you to lead in this because it's been a while since I watched it.
Yes.
Go ahead.
It was on Sunday. We're now into Friday.
Yes. It's been a few days.
I'm going to give a brief overview.
Yeah.
Partially because I don't remember everything. Which is odd because memory loss plays a big factor in this episode.
Oh, that's right. It does.
Kern is this really, really, really respected soldier.
I thought his name was Core.
Corn.
Core, not Corn.
Core. Okay.
Kern was, if you remember, that was Worf's brother, right?
You might be correct. I'm horrible with
Colonel something. Captain Kern, I think his name was.
You're right. Core.
Yeah, Core.
Yes.
That's why you have me around, Bubs.
That's right. Otherwise, I'd just do this by myself.
You would just be lost and like, no, it's not Kern.
It would be Green and Hammond.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyways, Core is this very respected soldier. I believe he was in Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country, but I could have that wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He comes to Worf and says, I know I'm an old man, but I still really want to participate and be in some battles.
Mm-hmm.
As fate would have it, General Martok is about to lead a series of ships to destroy some shit. Worf, being Martok's right-hand man, says, Core, we got you covered, bro. I'm going to put you on the crew.
Right.
What Worf is unaware of at the time is Martok hates Core.
Yes, like with a passion.
Because Core basically made sure that a young Martok had some obstacles in life, just because of where he's from.
Right, exactly.
Eventually, Core gets on the crew. They go off. Everybody else besides Martok is really, really impressed at first.
Yes.
They want to hear his stories of battles, how he did this, how he conquered that person.
Can I note something for a minute?
Tell me.
But it's obvious that he's starting to lose his excuse me. You can tell that he's lost his memory, but he's been losing it for a while then.
Yes.
And didn't you say that he appeared in another episode and he was losing it?
I think he did. I think it was him who appeared. Yeah, he appeared in one or two other episodes earlier in the series that weren't that good. They were more Dax-heavy episodes.
Right.
And as you know, I wasn't a huge fan of Dax. He's one of my least favorite characters on DS9.
Wow.
Which is kind of sacrilegious.
I did like her more than I like the new one.
Oh, yeah, she's way better than Ezri.
She's better, but I mean, Ezri is nice, but there's something about Jadzia.
She was okay. I always thought Jadzia was very overrated, though.
You did?
Yes.
But she was like super smart, though.
That's the thing. They tried to make her too knowledgeable about everything.
And she knew how to have fun, though.
Right, but it's that old thing about you try to make a perfect character. And to me, that's where you have a problem.
I totally disagree with you on that one.
They try to make her too perfect. She's funny. She's intelligent. She likes to party.
Yeah, but no character is perfect.
Right, but they try to make her as close as possible.
Anyway.
And it came off as unrealistic to me.
Well, that's another story.
You see, my favorite characters are those who have flaws. Odo is a great person, but he has definite flaws. Yes. Cisco is a spiritual leader, but he can be a bit petty at times.
Yes, he can be.
Kira is a former terrorist.
But...
And these are my favorite characters.
And they're great. They're great characters because they have a lot of depth.
My favorite characters: a former terrorist, a creature who turned against his own people, and a spiritual leader who's very petty.
Well, I like Nog too.
Nog's all right.
Nog's all right. Well, I mean, he's grown a lot though. You have to admit.
Yes.
Okay, go on before we get off of
my right tangent.
Yes.
For the day.
Yes.
Yes. You get to hear one in private, I'm sure. But
oh yes.
How lucky do you feel that you get to hear me discuss the world?
Not really great.
Oh,
well, it depends on what it is. I can't say that.
Oftentimes, though, there must be moments where you get off the phone.
We're getting off track here.
Where you think to yourself, we're going to get back on track. That you just heard some amazing stuff.
Yeah, that's I wouldn't go that far.
All right, let me ask you this, babes, and then we're going to go back to the episode.
I love you, but I wouldn't go that far.
Have you ever either gotten off the phone with me or after we hang out and you thank God that you got to hear something so interesting and unique come out of my mouth?
Well, I mean, I do think back on our conversation, but I'm like, wow, that was so, I mean, because sometimes we could talk about nothing really.
Yeah.
And only stuff that we would think was amusing. But it's not like life, it's not like to the point where it's like the deepest thing that I could ever want to hear.
You don't thank God for my insights.
I wouldn't go so far as that.
Okay.
I thank God for you.
Thank you.
But not so much for everything that you've said.
Oh,
I mean, there's the things that I definitely agree with you on. And we're getting off track here.
We are.
I think we should get back on track. I'll just say that there are things that I do not agree with you on, but I will say that our conversations have always been interesting.
Thank you.
But I wouldn't go far as to say, oh, thank God, I heard some really awesome stuff. It's a little too much.
If I were you, I would.
That's a little too much, even for you.
Sometimes I wish I was a Christian just so I could thank God for creating somebody as great as me.
Well, it isn't too late, Bubs. Well, we're getting off track here. We're getting off track.
Okay.
Let's get back on it.
So Cora has memory problems even at the beginning of the episode. So I'm not sure if this is a memory problem, but he calls Worf the son of Moog.
Yeah.
And
I think maybe he didn't know that he became he became a part of the House of Martok.
Here's my theory on that. It's either his memory is going or he's a petty person and claims not to remember screwing Martok over. But in any event, they're on the ship. The crew is like, this dude is awesome. He's great. Mm-hmm. They go into battle. There's an accident. Kor takes over for a second and completely goes against Martok's orders. Then he starts making some reference to the Federation, and people realize that he's completely lost it. The crew then starts to make fun of him, which I actually thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting.
How would we not want to be a Klingon for sure?
Yeah.
There's one old guy on the ship besides Kor who remembers the old days.
Yeah, he's very old.
Yeah. They're having a conversation, and they're basically lamenting the fact that these kids will never really know the joys of a true battle.
Kids. Yeah.
There's a situation where some Dominion ships are coming up on them. Mm-hmm. And they need to get them to drop out of warp for about 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. Worf says, I know it's a suicide mission, but I'm going to take command of this other ship.
Yep.
And get the Dominion off your back.
Right.
Before he can do this, Kor ejects something into him. Worf passes out.
Yep.
Kor beams over to the other ship and makes it happen.
Yep.
And dies a hero.
Yes.
That was a very brief overview, especially from somebody like me. But like Kor, I may be suffering from memory loss.
No, I think you're fine, but it is a lot to remember, especially since it's been a few days since we watched it.
Yes.
I mean, and there's a lot of... in all fairness, there's a lot of things packed into these episodes. So it's not... There's a lot of things going on.
I don't even remember the B-plot, to be honest.
I don't either. I really don't. Yeah. I do remember that they were singing a song... In honor of Kor.
Yes.
And I made that... I asked that question, hey, how do you think that they created the Klingon language, right? Because... it's a whole... I mean, people keep talking about things in Klingon. And it's like, I wonder how they do that.
I do too. And supposedly, the Klingon dictionary is not considered canonical, meaning that it doesn't really apply.
Right, exactly.
So, like, even though I've read the English to Klingon dictionary book...
Yeah, like truck nun.
I am a Terran, which a Terran is another word for human.
Right.
In the Federation.
Yes.
I don't know that any of that would actually work with the real Klingon, which there are no real Klingons.
No, they're not.
If you buy into the reality of the show, as I like to do, it doesn't all add up, so I'm not quite sure how that works.
Yeah. Well, how I want to know too is, and I'm going back to the Frasier episode with Freddie's bar mitzvah.
Yes.
I would imagine that the person who directed the show was doing some study on Klingon stuff, right? In order for Noel to write the blessing, the Jewish blessing in Klingon. I don't know. I thought it was really, really, really funny episode.
The rumor that I have heard is in real life, Kelsey Grammer is a huge Star Trek fan.
Well, he was on Star Trek, wasn't he?
He was on one episode, which you still haven't seen.
No.
It's a pretty good one from The Next Generation. We might want to watch that sometime.
I heard it was good.
Yeah.
Yes. He was the captain, right? Of that ship?
Of an older ship. Yeah. That was your phone.
Yes, I know.
Yes. We could even watch that maybe this weekend. But
yeah, that'd be kind of fun.
He's only in the last scene of the episode.
Oh,
it's really good though.
Okay.
And the original plan, I know you haven't seen the movies, but Kirstie Alley was in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
Really? Oh, wow.
And supposedly she was going to have a cameo and be on the bridge of Kelsey Grammer's ship because they were shooting Cheers at the time, but she didn't want to do it. And backed out at like the last minute.
Oh, okay.
That's what I heard.
Okay. May or may not be true.
Correct. Yes. What did you think of this episode of DS9 overall?
I thought it was interesting. I knew something was up with Cora because remember he was making a date for this was it a meeting or something that he was supposed to have?
I don't remember.
I forgot what it was. And he was like, what was that date again? Because I knew that there was something wrong. And I asked you if there was something wrong with his memory.
Yes. What do you think this episode teaches us about how we treat older people in our society?
I kind of think of that saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I don't know if that really applies to this, but maybe because they thought, well, he's just so old, he doesn't... I think youth plays a big part in it because, the more youthful you are, the more, for example, the more employable you are, right? The more useful you become because you're still young and you're still in your prime. And you're not on your way downhill, right? But the older you get, it's like, well, they probably feel, well, what can I be useful for? I have nothing to give. I don't know. That's what I think.
Okay, that's one way to look at it.
I mean, that's what I think of maybe he might be thinking. I don't know.
But what do you think it tells us about how we treat people who are older, not how Core perceives it?
No, that's what I mean. I was trying to combine those two things together.
Interesting.
Yeah, because don't you think that in some ways our society is so focused on youthfulness? How to maintain our youthfulness as we get older?
It is.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
But I think it's getting us a little bit off the...
Well, I mean, that's what I mean, is sometimes the older a person gets... I mean, so I'll tell you in my own family the way that I was raised to treat older people.
Spit in their face.
No, Call
them old.
Would you stop?
Encourage suicide. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Would you stop it?
Go ahead. Say, hey, have you ended it yet, okay? I got you some poison for Christmas. No, go ahead.
Do you want to listen to what I have to say?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I was always taught to respect my elders, especially the older generation. And I feel like, unfortunately, people that are maybe my age or younger, that's slowly going away. They're not giving any respect to them, and they don't want to get old because of what they're doing, what they're dealing with. And I noticed that when I've been around people that were older, I loved hearing their stories. And I don't know that people that are younger would appreciate those stories. I would.
As you know,
Excuse me.
Oh, Jaylo.
Sorry.
It's okay. I am a big fan of stories.
Mm-hmm.
So I love hearing people's experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the same reverence for people who are older as you and many others who I know do.
Mm-hmm.
Partially because I think of it like they're the ones who screwed up this planet, right?
Okay.
Because they're the ones who got us in all these wars, and I don't know.
I wouldn't blame all old people for that.
Yeah,
but
so
they worked super hard for the younger generation to have what they have.
I want to say that my opinion on this has become a lot more nuanced. But when I was younger, I would think of it, well, they're the generations who led to all this drug use and mass incarceration, and it's holding everybody back from achieving. Mm-hmm. Now, as I get older, I realize that that's more the older people who are at the top of the food chain, right, so to speak, and not necessarily the people who are just trying to get by and who really, really had to struggle to get through life. Mm. Does any of that make any sense?
Sort of, but not completely.
Tell me what doesn't, and maybe I could explain it better.
What exactly do you mean the people on top of the food chain?
You always have, let's take it political, but let's not use Trump because that's the easy fallback position.
That is an easy fallback.
Right. Let's take somebody like George H.W.
Why don't we not talk about presidents and just use like I don't know, a better example of it? Like maybe somebody in the military.
Okay. Let's maybe not take a military person, but let's take somebody like Henry Kissinger.
Yeah, I think he's still alive too.
He is.
Okay.
He's an old bastard, but he'll be dead soon.
That's enough.
Alana loves Kissinger.
That I don't know anything about Kissinger really. I know that he's still. I think he's like. Well, anyway, that's
he's almost 100. I think he might be 99.
Yeah, he's been around. But okay, go on.
Can I give you my? I'll give you my favorite Kissinger story in a minute. But he was part of the Nixon administration, and they did a lot of stuff to oppress people, whether it was drug laws. Now we're getting back on presidents.
Okay, let's stay away from presidents. That's an easy way to go.
When I say the people on top, I mean the ones who were like the executives of big corporations or political figures who conspired against the people by making these draconian drug laws, leading us into senseless wars. Sort of causing the erosion of the middle class. And what I failed to realize when I was younger is, yes, that was older people who did that, but that wasn't all older people. That was like less than 1% of the population. Most older people were just trying to get by.
I think a lot of young people are following suit with the supposed ones that were supposedly oppressing people. I don't know. Mm. I think that there are more young people, maybe not more young people, but the ones that are like really high up, CEOs of certain companies that don't need to be named, but you know what I mean. I think there's possibly there has been suppression on both, or oppression and suppression on both sides.
Throughout the decades,
not just older folks that were higher up, but now you got the younger folks that are higher up.
Correct. But when I had these feelings, it was more when I was a teenager.
Right.
And I was angry, and it's easy to blame older people for your angst.
I think it's easy. Well, I think it's easy for any young person to point the finger at anybody and say, this is why we're messed up. Mm-hmm. But not finding ways to move forward from it.
My opinion there wasn't very nuanced. I wasn't considering, there's those older people, but also what about the older people who worked in medicine mm-hmm. and who, try to come up with some product, whether it was exploited or not, that would make people's lives better.
Or what about the people that survived the Great Depression? Exactly. The people that worked hard to put food on their family's table, and they're They're just regular middle class Americans that just want to take care of themselves and their families. Mm-hmm. In my parents' generation, and in my grandparents' generation.
And it probably didn't help that my parents were both kind of fucked up. So they're like the closest example I have to older people, right?
That's not a good example.
Exactly, but that's my point. So,
but and this is different for me and my family because my family came from another country, and I don't know if that explains it, because their way of life was different from mine. Mm-hmm. Their way of life in another country is different from the how it is for the individual. When they were growing up, it was like, how can I make enough money to then take care of my family when I get older? So it wasn't like on an individual basis, but when they came to the States, it was different. I don't know if that makes any sense.
It does to me.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm making sense today. I feel like you've been really on it.
Oh, good.
But I feel like I've been off today.
That's okay. It is Friday, and maybe you didn't get enough sleep. That's You said you did, but
yes. But this episode will highlight your brilliance.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I try to be when I'm on it.
I think I may have told my favorite Kissinger story here before. Mm-hmm. Have I talked about him on this podcast?
You might have. I don't remember. I think you might have mentioned Kissinger to me.
Do you want me to tell the story anyways, or should we skip it?
We can skip it until another time.
Okay.
I don't know that it would apply to this.
It's a funny story.
But I mean, okay. But I mean, it's something to think about because there's older people in the United States, and then there's older people that have come from a third world country. Mm-hmm. What they had to deal with, what they're still dealing with, how they are adjusting in a new life, or maybe decades in another country, that gives them freedom for the individual.
Yeah.
I think about that.
And in some ways, I don't want to become an old person.
Well, you don't have to be like your grandparents. You can be the old person that you want to be.
I don't want to have my doctor's appointments be the focal point of my social life.
It doesn't have to be, though.
No.
It doesn't have to be. I mean, there are people in my family that are still very vibrant, very energetic. They know how to pick, some nice clothes. They know how to have fun. They still travel a lot. They don't have to sit there and twiddle their thumbs and go to the doctors all the time.
There's a really good James Woods movie. Mm-hmm. I might have told you about it before, called Another Day in Paradise.
I think I heard of that one. I didn't see it.
We got to watch it sometimes.
But you said you liked it, right?
Yes. And he is dating Melanie Griffith.
And this is like back in what year would you say?
I want to say came out in either late 99 or early 98. They basically take this teenage couple under their wings.
Okay.
And they're criminals.
Oh.
But she tells, I think, the girl in the teenage couple, oh yeah, James Woods has said when he hits 60, he wants to drive his car off of a cliff and end it.
Wow.
And that sounds like something that's appealing to me.
That he would do?
No, I mean, it sounds like an appealing option.
Yeah, it doesn't. That sounds like the easy way out to me.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I still got some time, and I don't drive a car, so.
No, you don't.
We'll see I may end up being one of those 100-year-olds talking about how much I love catheters and cancer treatments.
Well, who knows? You might be one of those 100-year-olds or maybe 90-something-year-olds that are eating dinner, and then all of a sudden you just, put your head down on the table and you're gone.
I want to check out Fast Babes. Everybody knows that.
Yes.
Yes. I had this cool experience with a 90-year-old.
Oh, really?
And this was about 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. I was showing him something. Mm-hmm. He looks at me afterwards and he says, I'm so glad you showed me this. I want to use this information to make the rest of my life better.
What did you show him?
I don't want to get into the specifics here.
Oh, okay.
But it was kind of inspiring to me.
Oh, wow. But you're saying that it made his life better.
It made his life better, but the way he phrased it, like, I want to use this for the rest of my life. Oh, it's kind of like this person never stopped learning. even though he was 90. And I think of myself at 90, that I'm just going to be ready to check out.
But I think that we constantly keep on learning, no matter how older we get. Like, I've always told people, you're never too old to learn an instrument. You're never too old to learn a language. You're never too old to learn something like some kind of dance, like tap dancing and whatnot. You're never too old to learn how to do something, participate in a sporting event, if you really want to do it.
Yeah.
I think. And I think I really believe it. You don't have to be the older person, like the older people in your parents' or grandparents' generation.
I have been thinking a lot during the lockdown of what do I want my life to look like afterwards. Mm-hmm. If we ever get out of this, which is looking like we will.
I think we will. Mm-hmm. Eventually. We have to. We're not designed for this.
But I just don't know what it's going to be.
Well, I think that's the interesting thing, is that we don't know how it's going to be, but how is our attitude going to be looking forward?
Yes.
Going forward. And I want to have a good attitude about it. And I want to, experience life the way that I experienced it before, and better.
Very good, Jaylo.
Yes.
But getting back to the episode.
Okay.
Because I took us down a little bit of a rabbit hole.
Yes. Yeah.
What does Martok teach us about holding a grudge?
A lot. Well, I see it all too often. People that are much older than me, that they've held grudges for years and they never dealt with it. And they blame that person for everything messed up in their life, or that situation for everything that's messed up in it. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
It's really sad to see. It's really sad to see. They haven't, like, people in their 60s and maybe close to 70s that are my parents' age that have not dealt with their issues while they were still young and tried to figure out how to move past it and move on with their life. I think it's really sad. I think it is.
Do you respect Martok?
Oh, I still do. I just don't. I don't like it. I don't like that he's holding this grudge, and that he hasn't gotten over it. I still respect him.
Do you think he's learned anything from this experience?
I don't know. Possibly not. I couldn't tell you. What do you think?
I'm up in the air about that, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he does, but I don't know. I don't know that we could ever know.
Do you respect his crew?
I
mean, I know that's kind of a blanket statement, but
I guess
I'd like to get your take on it.
I suppose I do.
Yeah.
I don't really have any opinion of either way or the other about his crew.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good, Jaylo.
But it does seem like Kor went through a lot to be the hero, including losing his memory.
Yeah, that's got to be weird.
That's got to be tough, but he got it done.
Saved everybody.
And he died a hero.
Yep.
Yeah. So I have to respect him for that. Even if he doesn't have it anymore.
Huh.
He got it. He got her done, as people would say.
Get her done.
Get her done.
Well, if you remember, that's what he told the old guy right before he left to the other ship. He's like, I'm going to go and get her done.
That's not what he said.
Okay.
That sounds like something that Larry the Cable Guy would say.
I've never seen any of his movies.
I'm not really a huge fan of him, but I heard that he obviously doesn't have a real Southern accent in real life, because it's just his character.
Right.
So, he kind of talks like this, but I'm not really a huge fan of Larry the Cable Guy. He's all right.
I don't think I've even seen any of his comedy specials, which is weird for me because I love stand-up comedy. Mm-hmm. But I know obviously who he is, but I don't know his material.
Yeah. I'm not too interested in Larry the Cable Guy. Have you heard of this comedian named Bill Engvall?
I had one of his albums back in the day. I'm talking about 98. and I didn't think it was very funny. I bought it randomly because it looked like it could be interesting.
Bill Engvall is all right, but I do enjoy some of Jeff Foxworthy stuff.
Jeff Foxworthy is good, but Bill Engvall,
he's okay. I mean, I think Jeff Foxworthy is definitely a level above him.
I feel like Bill Engvall tries to pander to the quote unquote Bible Belt, and I feel that Jeff Foxworthy, it's just who he is, so he can do it. He can pander
to anyone, actually. I think.
What do you mean? I've
heard a lot of his stuff, and he doesn't. There may be a bunch of people in there that I think he panders to the maybe the word should be pander. His demographic is a lot of people that actually grew up in the South.
Bill Engvall.
No, Jeff Foxworthy.
Right, but here's what I'm saying. I'm saying, to me, when I listen to Foxworthy, it's a lot funnier, and it feels organic. Yeah. With Bill Engvall,
it doesn't.
It feels like I'm listening to an act.
Okay, so it feels scripted. I don't know that his demographic is the quote unquote Bible Belt, because I think the Bible Belt thing is like a concept, and it's
but it's really it's a term to notify safe comedy. And Jeff Foxworthy does a similar style, but it feels more natural to me. Now, having said that, Jeff Foxworthy used to work at IBM.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. And who knows how entrenched in that community he really is.
Right.
But to me, even if he's not, he's a better actor than Bill Engvall because he makes me believe it.
I think he's super funny, though. I really do.
I think Jeff Foxworthy's great.
I was introduced to his stuff like in the late 90s when I was a teenager. And I thought, I always loved his redneck jokes.
Yeah.
Some of it might actually be true. And he's always coming up with one like
if your mother and your sister are the same person, you might be a redneck.
If your underwear doubles into a bathing suit, if you go to family reunions to meet women, if somebody knocks on your door and asks where the yard sale is,
right.
If you see a sign that says "say no to crack," and it reminds you to zip up your pants. There's some funny ones, and I think he's always coming up with you might be a redneck jokes.
Yeah,
they're super funny.
I'm not a comedy snob because I enjoy Jeff Foxworthy and Andrew Dice Clay and Louis C.K. Like, I have a broad taste in comedy, and I feel that is something that is lacking in our society today.
Yeah, I think. Would you agree that comedians now, not all, comedians like Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, those people that are really, they like to tell the truth in their comedy shows, whether you agree with it or not, right? Whether you're offended or not. And it seems like some comedians today will not do that. Like it's not, they're just so PC about everything.
I would agree with you.
And I think that
not Chappelle or Chris Rock. Obviously.
No, obviously not. I mean, they'll say whatever, whether you like it or not, and you don't have to listen to it if you don't want to.
And that's why they stand out as great.
Right. And then there's other people too. I mean, I think Jeff Foxworthy, the way that he says it, he may not be as brazen as they are, but he he's very honest.
Right. But it's weird, like, you would not consider me somebody who would be a Jeff Foxworthy fan because I'm not super Bible-y. I'm not from the South.
I mean,
I read books.
I don't know that it's fair to say that I'll just say this really quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's fair to say that everyone that comes from the South is a Bible Belt thing, is part of the Bible Belt. I don't know that that's fair to say.
I hear you. I'm sure there are plenty of atheists who live in the South.
Oh yeah, too. There's some liberals in the South, like straight up liberals. I mean, they've got a whole bunch of people, but I don't know that it would be fair to to label them as just part of the Bible Belt, because there are some that are definitely, but
that's the general perception, though.
Yeah, but just because it's a perception, it's not always. Anyway.
And there are conservatives who live here in Portland who are super into the Bible.
Of course.
Yes.
Like me.
Oh.
Anyway, that's another story in itself. Yeah. But I will say that I respect comedians no matter what their style is. I'm not really into I'm not like, I don't know. I don't watch a lot of stand-up comedy stuff because there's some things in there that are kind of, they can get pretty off color, and I'm not really into that stuff, but I will admit that there are some things that are pretty funny that come out of it.
I love stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
That's why I think one night we got to do a stand-up comedy special night. Because you still haven't seen Raw.
No.
Which came out around 87, I want to say, with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
But that's a story for another time.
Yes.
One of our many, many movie nights in the future.
Right. Yeah.
There's so much good stand-up comedy out there.
Yes. I would agree.
Makes our human experience much more vast.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yes. Good stuff to you, boys.
Good stuff, yes.
Good stuff. Alana?
Yes.
We got into a bit of an argument last night. It was your fault, but you know.
It was not my fault.
It was your fault.
It was not my fault, and it came up again.
When?
It came up more than once. It wasn't just this time. I have gotten upset with you more than once about this subject.
You said that you wanted to talk about it here today briefly.
Right.
And without giving out the specifics, there was something in your life that I suggested that you check up on.
Mm-hmm.
You were procrastinating on it. Eventually did yesterday. And I said you want to be careful because you might lose this opportunity. It turns out that I'm probably correct. And then you got mad at me for pointing it out that I was
No,
correct.
See, I think you're close, but that's not the reason why I got mad at you.
Because I kept harping on it.
And you harped on a lot of things that wasn't just this. It was other stuff.
Oh.
And the reason why I got mad at you is the way that I was perceiving it, the way that I was taking it wasn't the same way you were. I will say that I do believe that your heart was in the right place. I'm not going to say that you had any malicious any malicious intent towards me at all. I'm not saying that at all. I think you genuinely were concerned and you wanted to help, but there are times where I felt like it seemed that it was either nagging or that you were being meddlesome. And I've had experiences with people that have tried to help, but it seemed more like they were meddlesome. And maybe that's not where you were coming across, but at the time I felt very irritated and annoyed that you would harp on something, again, that had really nothing to do with you, but it had more to do with me.
From my perspective, I want you to do well in life. And I think being proactive ultimately leads to a better existence. And one of my criticisms of you is that I believe I'm more proactive than you are with certain things. So this is how it manifested itself in our conversation last night.
Do you feel in some ways, and I just thought about this morning.
Go ahead.
Do you feel like you are the type of person that wants to fix stuff?
I want everybody around me to lead the best life that they can. And you've seen me with friends. Like, there are certain friends I'll talk to you about and I'll be like, why isn't this person doing this? Or this person made this mistake, even though I warned them against it.
But didn't I then respond to you and say, is it your job to make sure that they do this? Because whether or not they do what you want them to do, they're going to make a different decision. They're going to make their own decisions.
Right. And I need to come to terms with that because if I'm somebody's friend, I want them to do well in life.
Right. But
and it doesn't mean that I'm always right, but it means I think I am.
Right. But here's the thing that I'm trying to get you to kind of think about here is because you are such a caring person and you want to fix things in other people's lives, right? Mm-hmm. I understand your intent, but that's not always a good thing.
I have had multiple people who know me pretty well sit me down for conversations at various times, and the discussion is, Rick, you really need to think about becoming a life coach. Because you would be great in that type of field. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you date me, so maybe my advice isn't as wanted, other than the kissing stuff and other things.
It would. You do. Well, here's what I was thinking.
Go ahead.
It would be better if, instead of assuming and deciding that I need help in an area, it would be better as, for me, not anybody else.
Okay.
It would be better if you asked me things like, hey, you seem to be having problems in this area. Do you want me to help you? Because then I would be like, well, I appreciate it, but I'll let you know. Or, yes, I would want you to help me because I don't know what to do about this. Because then I wouldn't take it as nagging, harping, meddling, and I wouldn't take it so, I wouldn't take it the way that I do.
So how do I do it now? I just say, hey, babes, you should really do that. Well, I guess that's different.
Because when you say should, it makes me feel like you're ordering me to do it.
Okay.
That's what I mean. Because, and I've talked to a former friend about this when we were friends, and she would tell her sons, hey, you should do this. And I've heard this for pretty much all my life. You really should do this. You really should do this. But what they say, to me, when I hear that, it's like, well, maybe instead of worrying about what I should do, maybe you should worry about what you should do for yourself. And it makes it sound like it's an order.
Sorry, go ahead.
And when she was saying that, when she was talking to her sons about this, she would change it to where she would say, here's something to think about, instead of saying, you should do this for me, or you should do this for you. Which, just because they say you should do it, it doesn't mean that it's the best thing for this person.
From my perspective, I am going to listen to what you just said. Mm-hmm. I mean, I did listen to it, and I'm going to try to digest it.
Okay.
But I just feel like I know better than people. And I know that's super arrogant because my life isn't perfect.
That's your problem.
But if we're going to be honest, I just feel like I know better than people.
That's the problem. That's the problem there. You see? Just because you think something is better for a person, it doesn't necessarily mean it is. Even though you may have been correct a bunch of times and your heart was in the right place, not everybody is going to warm up to your suggestion.
Right, but not just with me and you, but you've heard me tell stories about friends who I care about who got things massively wrong. And I knew that they were going to go that way. And we don't have to give examples here, which is one of the reasons I'm being kind of vague.
Yeah.
But it just... Listen, is my life perfect? Do I get things right all the time? No. But I feel when it comes to other people, I can see what they're doing wrong. Even though I can't tell it with myself.
I mean, have you noticed that there are times where I'll say something like, I really think that... And maybe I should work on this too.
Go ahead.
Because there are things like, when you told me something like, oh... do you think I should, quote unquote, tell this friend what I feel or how I think or whatever? Or should I talk to this friend again? Or should I take a break from this friend? And I'll say things like, I really think that maybe it would be better if you did this. And it didn't matter to me whether you did it or not, but I would give you a suggestion, but also keeping in mind that you may not do what I think you should do, but you're going to have to make your own mistakes. And letting people make their own mistakes, that's how people learn. And I feel like the way that I grew up, I felt like people didn't want me to make mistakes. And I don't think that really helps a person grow.
So you think
emotionally, mentally. Mm-hmm.
That I should be a little bit more loose with my advice. Like loose, not meaning like to say, but loose on whether people accept it or not.
I think you should really consider it.
Okay.
I think you should consider it, and I also think that the way that you tell or maybe ask people, maybe think about asking people if they really do need help in these areas. Because I like again I want to stress, I love that you care about people.
Yeah.
That is one of your wonderful qualities.
Because you'll hear me go off on friends all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a good quality to have, but it could be detrimental if you don't take care of it. Right?
Yeah.
As too much of a good thing is not always good. Too much of a help from somebody is not always a good thing. So, just keep it in mind.
Okay.
Keep it in mind, but don't stop being the caring person you are.
Thank you, babes.
Yeah.
Now, can I give you a piece of advice right now? You should give your boyfriend a kiss.
Okay, kissy.
Okay, kissy. What?
No. Okay. Okay, so do you feel better about what we just talked about?
I do. Do you feel better because it was your idea to bring this up in this?
Yes, I feel much better because I actually had time to really think about it and sleep on it and, think about what the other person is thinking.
Thank you.
And because I've had experiences with this in my own family,
yes,
I know exactly why I feel the way that I do.
Nice.
And what you might be thinking.
Thank you.
Yes.
Babes.
Yes.
We don't have to talk about this.
Okay.
Well, first, let's say we're putting off the homework for another week, but we're not going to go into why.
Yeah.
The political homework.
Right.
Because you said, hey, maybe we don't go into details right now.
No, I think that'd be better.
But next week, we will have an update on that.
Yes, we will. Much as I don't want to, but yes, we will.
Do you want to talk about what is going on between AOC and Joe Biden?
I do not want to. No, I don't want to.
She has with Joe Biden.
Oh, she's actually criticizing him?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about that, but I don't really want to talk about her.
Okay, all right. We Google it then if you're interested.
Right. I don't really care about their beef, honestly.
I do because it actually affects you and me.
Uh-huh.
Because it has to do with the stimulus checks.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well.
Yes. But AOC for president one day.
Well, I don't think she'll make it, honestly.
I hope so.
I think it would be a horrible thing for our country.
Alana, a boy can dream.
A boy can dream. It doesn't mean that the dream will come true.
Oh my goodness, you boy.
Every time I talk like that, I think about The Princess Bride.
That's a good movie.
A dream remember it's like, marriage is a dream within a dream.
So I've only seen the movie twice.
I saw it once, but it was really good.
The first time was in high school, and I might have been smoking on something before I watched it.
It's funny. It's very funny.
The second time was with a really, really good friend of mine, and I remember really liking the movie.
Well, Wallace Shawn was funny in that one, too.
Wallace Shawn is great in everything.
He died laughing.
Yes.
It's like, and he's dead. I forgot who played the officiator who was officiating the wedding. Who is it?
I don't remember.
A dream within a dream. And then the kid's like, I thought there wasn't any kissing in the story.
Here's a question for you, babe.
Yes.
Does Wallace Shawn still have to work for money? I mean,
I don't really think about it as much as you do, but he probably doesn't. Maybe he does. Yeah, he probably does it for fun. I don't know. I mean, he's had some voiceover stuff like for the Toy Story movies, and I also thought I heard him voice one of the Keebler elves.
Interesting.
In the Keebler cookie commercials, which I always thought they were fun.
I wonder how much coin he has.
I don't really care to
if
be honest.
If he gets like walk away from the business, or is he stuck making movies?
I think it's interesting how we think of actors as these really rich people. But,
yeah, it's not always the case.
But it's not always the case because some people are they really need to do this movie or this series because if they don't, they're going to be unemployed for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And if their agent doesn't get them a good whatever it is, like if they land a sitcom and it only is on for a season, they're not going to get paid very well.
I remember just being a kid and thinking, if I saw somebody on TV, they were set for life.
I don't think that anymore.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it to begin with, but I'm like, if the show is really good, right? If the show like Frasier or Seinfeld or Cheers was really good, yes, for sure they would be set for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But if a show just runs for a year, or if they're an actor who has been in a lot of movies, but isn't the star of them, he's just a supporting actor or actress, then that doesn't necessarily mean that they can just go off and party. I heard an interview with Allison Hannigan, who played a version of you in American Pie.
No, it wasn't me. It was crazy flutist Michelle.
Loosely based on you.
No, it wasn't. It was not. Don't listen to him.
But the thing.
Don't listen to him.
But the thing.
Don't.
My dear. I know her best as was she played Willow on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, I didn't realize that was her.
Oh my God, she was so great on that show. She was on some late night talk shows, and I don't remember which one. I think it was Craig Kilborn. Because I don't really watch.
I don't watch late night shows much anymore, so I have no idea. It might be Craig Kilborn or Craig Ferguson.
This is so long ago. This was maybe 2000.
Craig Ferguson, maybe,
or 2001.
Yeah.
And she was saying, people think I'm rich because I was in American Pie and I play Willow on Buffy.
Yeah.
But I don't get paid as much as everybody thinks I do. I'm still going to have to work after Buffy ends. And I remember just thinking to myself, that's so weird. I figured that she was like a multi-millionaire just from Buffy.
It's kind of refreshing to think about that, right? In some ways, because actors are just like us. They just act on screen. Whether they're doing a movie or a TV show, they're just like us that would have to work to make ends meet, and they have to work extra hard if they need to.
Yeah.
You know.
And I remember at the time thinking, I wonder if she's just lying to play down her wealth. But the more people I meet in the artistic field, the more I think she's probably being honest. It's
the arts are not, I'm finding out I've been finding out over the years that the arts are, it's a hard profession when it comes to being paid, right?
Yes.
It is very hard. Okay, so I know I'm gonna give you a Friends reference. I haven't done that in a while.
Go ahead.
But
I will survive as long as it doesn't have to do with eggs.
Just for that, I might make you some.
And I will not eat them. There's a better chance of me becoming a Christian than me eating eggs. But keep going.
Oh, jeez. That's a little bit far-fetched. But anyway. So Lisa Kudrow plays Phoebe Buffay on Friends.
Okay. She
is a struggling street performer because she plays the guitar, and pretty crummy guitar, if you ask me. It's pretty funny how she does it. But on the side, she has a job. Her main job is a professional masseuse.
Okay.
So she has to work 2 jobs. I think her music on the side is just like her hobby, but she doesn't get paid a lot. But she relies on her income as being a private masseuse. And then you've got Joey Tribbiani, who's an actor, but he's kind of like going in and out of employment because his agent can't get him. Like if his agent doesn't get him a good job or a good audition, then he can't make the money.
Yeah,
it's kind of it seems really realistic.
That part of it might be.
Yeah, because I was talking to my friend about it, and both of us were fans of the show, and I'm like, that's really interesting how that is, and they don't live in like a super posh apartment building.
No, that's not true. On Friends, the apartment is huge.
Well, it's a huge apartment, but I'm saying like they don't live in like big houses.
True.
They're just trying to make it by in New York.
But I bet the apartment they had on the show, if it was really New York in that time period, not even talking now, would probably go for something like $5,000 a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the show, the characters, the that were living in that apartment were using, it was their grandmother's apartment.
I didn't know that. I thought it was just Courtney Cox and Jennifer Aniston.
It's Cox.
Depending on where you're from.
Cox.
I thought that they were...
C-O-X.
Yeah, but the Portland pronunciation, the X is partially silent.
That's the Rick pronunciation of it. That's the Rick pronunciation of it.
In Portland, we always pronounce it cock.
No, I don't.
Well, if you weren't raised here, I could see.
Okay, will you stop? Okay.
If you were raised.
Okay, that's enough. Okay, let's move on to what I was trying to say.
But I thought that Courtney Cox and Jennifer Aniston found that place on their own and rented it out.
No, what happened is that Monica and Ross's grandmother let Monica have the apartment. So it was I think it was in her name, but she gave it to her. Okay,
the problem I have with that, babes, is how does it explain?
I mean, it doesn't really. I mean, I don't know why they had that in there, but that's what it. What?
How does that explain the guys who live down the hall, Joey and?
No, it's just that it was just that I think it was just the was it just the unit?
Right, but what I'm saying is, how does Joey and the other dude afford their apartment? Yeah, because they live in the same building on the same floor.
I don't know. I don't understand that. Well, then Ross moves into the same building too.
Oh, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
But I mean,
they're white and rich.
That's a part of the.
What?
And Ross is Jewish, I think.
Okay. Well, Mazel Tov.
Don't you trash on my show, Bubs?
Okay.
I don't trash on yours.
My shows are great, babes.
BoJack Horseman.
BoJack Horseman is a masterpiece. It is. I don't
even know if I'm going to go back to watching it again. I really don't.
You're missing out. I think it's the best show that has been made in the last 10 years, at least.
I'm
maybe
not sure.
20.
I'm kind of going back and forth. I don't know.
It's for intelligent.
And are you saying I'm not intelligent because I haven't watched it in a while?
No, keep going, babes. What were you about to say, reference?
I see how you are.
I'm just joking, babes.
I see how you are.
Oh, whatever. Keep going.
Well, I was going to say that the characters, as far as them trying to make a living with their jobs, it sounds more realistic to me. Is what I'm trying to say. The ones that are actually struggling. The actor, the masseuse / musician, the Rachel's or Jennifer Aniston's character. Jennifer Aniston's character Rachel, who works at a coffee place, works at their favorite coffee place, and then she ends up working at Bloomingdale's and Ralph Lauren, and trying to move her way up the corporate ladder because she came from a rich family, so she's kind of growing in that respect. Yeah, all these different things in these characters' lives.
Yeah, I just don't know how a struggling actor can afford such a good place, even with.
It's just a sitcom.
Okay.
It's not real life.
Yeah, you know my rule, babe.
Yeah, but you're honestly.
What?
This is what I deal with, folks. This is what I deal with. A super analytical person is driving me crazy.
But it's also a great experience too.
Not exactly.
Sometimes
it's a little bit. Well, sometimes I do agree with you on certain things, but sometimes it's a little bit.
Haven't I helped you
times,
see the world in a different way on occasions?
In some ways, you have, yeah.
Yes.
But again, too much of a good thing is not always good. You see.
But in my case, it can be.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay, babes. I'm glad you working friends there, Jaylo.
Yes.
Have you been reading 1984?
Yes, I just got finished with chapter 7. I know I've been going slow on this, but I'm going to be starting chapter 8 soon. I don't know how many chapters are in this book.
How are you feeling about it so far?
It's very interesting. It really makes you think about how people are conditioned when they're younger. Like if you grew up in a communist regime, doesn't matter what it is, how how kids perceive the world. Like when you're looking at the Parsons children, they're like, they want to fight people, they want to watch people hang, in the public square. It's very it's kind of disturbing, actually. It's kind of funny how they how George Orwell writes about it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's kind of disturbing. It really is. You know, and how he's talking about people's memories are going to be erased because they're going to be vaporized because they are not in the club, so to speak. And he's talking about the proles and their how they relate to the society. So it's interesting what children grow up believing. It really makes you think about that. You know, how he thought about his ex-wife Catherine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how things just went bad with him. I don't know. It's interesting.
It's a powerful book, babes.
It is. I can't wait to get into it some more.
Yes.
Yes. What about you?
I haven't been reading anything this year, really.
You haven't been reading anything this week? Didn't you start a book recently?
No, since the beginning of this year, I don't think I finished a book.
Really?
Yes.
Well, what book did you start reading so far?
I was kind of reading 1984 with you.
Yeah, and you finished it, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, but that was... I don't really count books that I've already read.
Okay.
Before that, I was kind of reading the book that Jojo Rabbit is based on.
Oh, okay.
Changing Skies, but I haven't gone back to it.
Yeah.
I just haven't been in the mood for a book recently, which is really weird for me. And I actually don't like that.
Yeah.
Because I love reading, and I think it's such a good thing to do.
Maybe partly it's because the seasons are changing, right? Every time winter comes around, and I'm talking about like January, right? The beginning of the year, it's always a time where all I want to do is not, it's kind of like a lazy period. And it doesn't last very long all the time, but it just feels like, in the winter, all you want to do is keep warm, maybe go to sleep, maybe read a book, but then it's like, I'm too tired to do it, or it's too cold. I just kind of want to go out. I don't know.
I know that it's not accurate.
Yeah.
But I consider winter to start at the week before Thanksgiving.
It's not when it starts.
I know, babe.
It's not accurate.
But I'm telling you, we're going by the Rick calendar.
Rick calendar, schmick calendar.
Oh my goodness, babes. Everybody should have a Rick calendar, okay?
Oh goodness.
Yes. Babes.
Yeah.
Changing the subject a little bit.
Of course.
Because I don't want to talk about my issues with illiteracy right now.
That's okay. It'll come back, I'm sure.
I'm sure it will.
It will.
I brought you over some homemade Mexican rice.
Oh, I'm so excited to get into that when I get into it this week.
Yes. I think you're going to enjoy it.
Oh, I love Mexican rice.
It tastes really good.
I don't believe I've had homemade Mexican rice, but I've had it like at restaurants and stuff, It's good stuff.
Yeah. There used to be this place in town. I'm not sure if it's still around. Was it out in like Beaverton? It was called Azteca.
Oh, Azteca is a chain.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
I did not know that.
There's Azteca, Azteca's restaurants in Washington.
Wow, I wish I would have known that. We used to go there.
Yeah, I think I went there once. I think I went there once.
Yes. Whenever I think of Mexican rice, I think I want to see if Azteca is still around. But if it's a chain, it probably is.
I heard there's a place here. I don't know where it is, but I heard it's a Mexican place called Don Pedro's.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, I heard it was really good. Don Pedro, I heard they have like really good burritos and yeah. Nice. My former roommate, who shall not be named, told me she went there once and she said that she really liked it.
Oh, good.
Don Pedro's.
Don Pedro's.
Yes, good stuff. I always like the hole in the wall Mexican places.
I do too.
Because you're actually getting, family style, like that stuff that you would get from a family that's working there, that owns the place.
Like Ole Ole is one of our favorite places
yeah.
here. I hope they're able to stay in business.
I know, they're so good, and I love their taco salad.
They've been the only restaurant I've gone to since the start of the pandemic, and that was in November.
What about Maya's? Is that another restaurant that's family owned?
I believe so. Maya's is really
Oh,
good.
yes.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I hope they last.
But Ole, they're just super nice, super friendly.
Yeah, I love the people who work there.
Yeah.
And they're so cheap, too.
Uh-huh.
But you don't feel like the quality sucks just because the food is cheap.
It's good stuff.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was.
They make a pretty good taco salad, and I love taco salads.
I have not had their taco salad, but their burrito is excellent.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I love having their taco salad, like, when it's cold outside.
Interesting.
No, because one of the last times I remember having it, this was like a couple Christmases ago, when I had a meeting to go to, and we met. No, wait, did we go to? It was Ole, yeah. And I had their taco salad, of course, because I love their taco salad, and it was just so good. It was really good.
Yes.
Delicious.
Very good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I made burritos this week with some of that Mexican rice and refried beans, avocado, sour cream and cheese, and I almost did corn salsa. Mm-hmm. But I didn't have a poblano pepper to really get down the chipotle feel of it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Even though I don't think Chipotle uses Mexican rice. I don't think they do.
No.
They might have it on the menu, but I haven't seen it there. But I'm blind too, so.
They probably have rice with their stuff in it, but I don't know if that would be Mexican rice.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff, though.
Oh, yes. Are you excited, babes, about our movie night tonight?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
I'm going to show you one, and you're going to show me one.
I'm going to show you Paco.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of wondering how that's going to go, because I know it's a... You said you like John Waters movies.
I do.
Yeah. And some of them are kind of weird.
But they're great movies.
He also directed Serial Mom, and that was a weird movie, too. Right?
Yeah, but he's done a lot of weird movies. That's his style, but it works for me.
Yeah.
And I really hope you like it. So tomorrow we could call the episode Jaylo Los Paco.
Why do you have to put my name in it?
It's just an idea, babes.
Okay. Whatever.
But it's going to be fun, Jaylos.
Wait.
Alana.
Yes?
Did you have any dreams last night?
I didn't have any dreams last night, but I had a couple of dreams the other day.
Talk about it.
So the first dream I had, and it was weird because sometimes I have weird dreams when I'm listening to something on my headphones. Doesn't matter what it is. And I had this dream that I was talking to this guy on a train. I think we were, it was in passing, and I was in between the cars. And I think I threw up on this table, and I continued talking to him. It was really weird. And then the second dream I had, I was in this, I think I might have been in a car with this Russian guy, and he was like, I want you to come to Russia. And I'm thinking, communist Russia, wintry, no thank you. And I was like, I think I was thinking about it in my dream, and I'm like, do I really want to go there? It's cold. You know?
Yeah.
I heard the toilet paper's pretty rough.
Huh.
It's, it's like, I don't want to do that. So and then I woke up.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't even remember why he asked me to go to Russia, but I said no.
Oh. Well, I'm glad you stayed, babes.
Yeah, well, it was a dream. I wasn't going to go anywhere. Did you have any dreams?
No, I don't think I had any dreams this week. This week was kind of an odd week just because, everybody's going through some sort of stuff with the continuing pandemic and the contentious political situation. So I've been talking to a lot of friends this week. I had an inspection of my apartment, which I was really nervous about, but guys came in, looked around, and was like, this works for us. You're good.
We're good, yeah.
But I always freak out the evening before an inspection. So I went to bed at around 11 that night and got up around 3:45 in the morning.
And you cleaned?
Yeah, just a little bit of last minute stuff.
Right.
So it hasn't been a big week as far as sleep goes, but maybe I'll have some dreams by tomorrow. Oh, you're yawning, babes. Are you tired?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't think so. By the way, have you ever tried to like vacuum your bed or your couch?
Yes.
Okay. I have not done that before, but because my vacuum has, and you've seen it, because my vacuum has an attachment, I was thinking about trying to do that one day.
Oh, pour some baking soda on your bed first.
I think I heard about that, right?
Yeah,
you take off the sheets.
Let it set for like 10 minutes and then vacuum it up. But I think you might want to look at the instructions for your vacuum first, because I know that some vacuums aren't as good as with doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right.
Yes. They say that that's the best way to clean a bed, or at least the lady who does the Clean My Space videos on YouTube. I've seen her do that.
Clean My Space? Oh.
Yeah, she has a really good YouTube channel. I forgot her name, but she's really good.
Here's an interesting fact about Kirstie Alley. Did you know that before she acted, she used to clean houses?
Really?
Yes, she did.
I did not know
and
that.
She said that she got pretty good at it. Yeah.
Wow.
She used to clean houses, yeah.
She's an interesting lady, for sure.
She is an interesting lady. She's getting old.
Yes. Well, she was old when she was on Cheers.
Was she like in her 40s?
No, I think she started when she was in her 30s, though.
But she seemed like an old 30.
No, she didn't seem like an old 30, but, she's got to be close to 70 by now.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're definitely right. I know that she was on a show called Fat Actress. I never saw it. Right? Have you heard that show before?
It sounds familiar.
I heard it was kind of funny, but yeah. But she's interesting. Yeah, she used to clean houses, and then she married somebody with the same last name.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
But they're not together anymore. But she did.
Was that actress who was married to
Robert Alley?
Is that his name?
I think it's Robert Alley, but they shared the same last name. What actor are you thinking?
I thought she was married to some guy in the 90s, and she won an award and thanked him for being good in bed.
What?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
We could YouTube it afterwards. I'm actually not joking about that.
Okay. That's very strange.
Yes.
Is it like an Academy Award or what?
No. Kirstie Alley with an Academy Award.
No, I know.
No, it's probably like an Emmy or People's Choice Award.
People's Choice, maybe. That's a little strange.
Yes.
I don't know about that one.
It would have been funny, babes.
What?
If she started walking funny up to the stage and said, "I've been having trouble sitting down all night because."
Okay. That's enough.
But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. That's a little bit weird.
Yes.
That's a little bit weird.
Sorry, babes. I didn't know.
That's okay.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I don't. I think I'm going to turn the heater on because it's starting to feel a little chilly in here. Are you?
Yes, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay. I was thankful and grateful that my grocery order came out really, really good, and I'm glad that it's here, and I'm just, yeah. That's all I have to say about that. What about you?
In the interest of full disclosure, I felt like I was a little bit off today during this.
Okay.
And I don't know why, but I feel like you picked up the slack and did really well.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't always feel like that.
I know. There's times I'm carrying it, but today you got to do the heavy lifting.
Sometimes I don't feel like the most articulate person, and I know that we are our own worst critics. But there are times where I'm listening to myself and I'm like, I can't believe I said that. That sounded so stupid. But
times I'm listening and I'm like, how many times am I going to say yeah or
But I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes.
I have tried, and I'm glad that you think that I did well. So that always makes me feel good when you say those things.
Yes. Yeah. I also have. I don't remember if I've ever kissed anybody. I've never kissed a woman before.
You
I would like to, if it's okay with you, Alina. Would you be the first woman to ever kiss me?
That's not true. You have kissed me just a few minutes ago.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Could you remind me, how did that go? Maybe by demonstrating on me.
Oh my goodness. Okay, enough.
Can I tell you something?
What?
I made up the fact that I forgot. I've kissed women before, and I've kissed you before.
I know you made it up.
Okay. Really?
You definitely made it up.
That sounds out of character for me, but
it is not actually out of character for you because you've made me laugh because of some of the things you made up.
Interesting. All right, Jaylo, unless there's anything else you want to say.
There is nothing left to say for now. Until next time.
Till next time, stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.